So years ago, I had a phone number on my website that wasn't textable. And as soon as I made it textable or changed my phone number to a textable number, I started getting a few texts per week from prospects and visitors on my website. And then when I changed my website to actually say that the number was textable, I noticed maybe a few more texts per week. So everyone's texting now. It's not rocket science that you should mention that on your website and make sure your phone number is textable. But some people just don't think of it because texting might be more of a personal thing and not always something you think about for your business or your website. So a natural question that arises, one that I've run into with some of my clients, is when we offer texting on the website, can we track it as a conversion in Google Ads the way we track phone numbers or phone calls? And it's a little tricky. Sometimes you just can't do it. So I wanted to cover that in a quick video and answer a few questions and concerns in this area. So I came up with this one client here who's a photographer. So, a very personal business. It makes sense to just list a phone number and say, call, text me at, this phone number. So with a lot of Google Ads clients, we use the built-in call tracking in Google Ads. And what that does is for any Google Ads clicks, it automatically changes the phone number to a Google forwarding number so that it can then track the phone call as a conversion and track some other stats like who called, how long it lasted, and things like that. But a big problem with that in this case is that the phone number is not textable. So if a Google ad click occurred, they land on this website, they scroll down, and a Google forwarding number shows here. It says, call, text me. If someone picks up their phone and texts this person at the phone number that displays, which is a Google Ads forwarding number, they're going to get an error back that it's not a textable number, or it's just going to, disappear into the ether and no one's going to know, or this client of mine isn't going to know that someone tried to text them. So in that case, you have to decide what you want to do. This client felt like she doesn't get many texts in the first place, so she wasn't really worried about losing those. Obviously, that's a pretty big deal to me, even to just lose one a month or even one a year could be a great client. So you don't really want to be missing out on those. So it's kind of a personal or business decision to some degree, but there are tools you can use to make trackable phone numbers that are also textable. So one tool you can use is CallRail, which is a call tracking software. I've covered this in other videos that I can link to, but it does allow you to set up tracking numbers for your website that are both obviously callable via phone calls, but also textable. And there are ways to track those texts as well. So you can see in here, I can just turn on text messaging with one checkbox, which means the tracking number that shows to the visitor will be textable. You have to use the CallRail app to get a text and respond to texts. So there's a few more steps involved from a technology standpoint, but it does solve this problem. There's some integrations on CallRail, so it integrates with Google Ads. Fortunately, with Google Ads, it doesn't send text as conversions right now. It just sends calls. So I actually contacted them recently via chat, and they did say that the Google Analytics integration would allow you to track texts. So at first he said at this time, there's no way for Google Ads to track text, only calls and forms can be tracked. I asked, what about through Google Analytics? And then he said text data can be sent through GA4. And he gave me this link about the GA4 integration. And it does show text events or SMS events being sent to GA4. So then you can use Google Analytics events to then create conversions in Google Ads. So this can be set up through CallRail to get phone numbers that are trackable for phone calls and texts on your website. So I'm hoping at some point they allow you to also track texts through the Google Ads integration. That'll just make this a little bit simpler and remove some steps. But in the meantime, there is a workaround. So this can obviously get a little bit complicated. If you're looking for someone to help you in managing your Google Ads account, these are some of the things that I help with: setting up CallRail, Google Analytics to get conversions tracking accurately, which is pretty critical these days for success in Google Ads. So if you're interested in talking to me about your account, make sure to check out the link below, and make sure to check out some of my other videos on Google Ads and other topics.